And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Facebook and YouTube Live, and then, of course, on 97.3 The Fan. Big thanks to Jeff for keeping us running on the air so smooth, and Adam for handling things on the app. We're having a great time in studio with one of my favorite people in our sport fishing business, and that's Captain Fred Huber of the Daily Double and the Point Loma. Just having a great time talking local fishing, talking great info and a great time. And, you know, Fred, one thing we haven't really talked about is the Point Loma, you know, and I know that's the other boat in your operation, and, you know, just a little bit about what you guys do and how the boats are going, and we're rolling into the time when both boats are running, and what's going on. We all know and love the Double. We talk about it every week, but what's the latest with the Point Loma?
Good question. You know, we sold the Mission Belle last year. I know you guys have had Cameron on.
Yeah.
And we're excited for him.
Totally.
You know, having that boat out of our operation, we're back to our roots.
Yeah.
Steve and I are celebrating. This is year 21.
Wow.
Incredible.
Of owning the Daily Double
How
and the
can
Point
that be?
Loma.
Right? Congratulations,
And
by the way.
Thank you. And it just, you know, it's kind of eased the operation. God, we're hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, the season, you know, as many cool things as we've seen, it's kind of off to a slow start as far as participation from anglers.
Right.
So, you know, we're just doing what we do. You know, booking some charters and seeing where we're gonna fit in. We've talked about putting the Point Loma on a local 3/4 day run.
Yeah.
You know, going back to basics, and you know, that's something I'm interested in doing.
Totally.
You know, give me 10 hours local, and you know, let me just go do the banker's hours.
Yeah.
But you know, meanwhile, you know, with the Double, we got to keep doing what we're doing, and you know, I love the half day trips. You know, just waiting for things to break loose and some more participation.
Totally.
Please come visit us. We've got a really good crew outside of Steve and I. We've got Tony Sotelo, who's been with us forever and a day, and Chad Slager. I mean, he's made me a better fisherman.
That's,
you know,
really cool.
Having some of the younger guys come through and you know, we have conversations on, you know, what you see and sonars and equipment, and you know, he's so on top of things for me. You know, the boats are in good shape.
That's great.
And you know, we've added some things. We got a new sonar on the Double, a new sonar on the Point Loma. Just little tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
But you know, as you guys know, it's a combination of all the little things.
Yeah,
all the little
absolutely.
things pile up, and you know, the boats are in good shape, and we're ready to fish.
Yeah.
And you know, we're excited about the year coming up. Exactly what we're going to do with the Point Loma.
It's going to find its home.
Is it a charter boat? I mean, if somebody wanted to charter it?
Yeah, well, it's one of the nicer charter boats for small groups.
Exactly.
You know, you only got a dozen, 15, 18 people or less, and it's competitively priced.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what's so cool about it, is it doesn't take a huge group of people to get together to charter the whole boat, and it's not a big cost when you get that group together.
Absolutely.
Is it available for maybe a charter to the islands? I mean, could somebody? Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So somebody can go to the Coronados and
I mean, boy, you know, last summer there was a point when all the day boats were scheduled and people booked to fish offshore, and Steve says, "Well, I'm going to the islands.
Yeah.
You know, I want to." That's always been something we've tried to do, is separate ourselves from what everybody else is doing. So
it shows. It shows in your run times with the double. It shows what you guys did with the bell. It shows what you're doing with the Point Loma.
So last summer, Steve started fishing the islands, and the other guys were kind of stuck because they were booked to go offshore. Well, Steve started getting hits at the islands, and it got to the point where we were putting the Point Loma online as an overflow.
Yeah. So
we had both the bell and the Point Loma fishing the Coronado Islands, and everybody else is offshore. And eventually they found their way into the islands. And, that was a phenomenal bite last summer.
And what a year for fishing the Coronado Islands it was, huh?
What's amazing to me is, there is still, there's still some good schools out there, but the participation has been lax, and, everybody's waiting for the big hits.
Yeah.
Nothing's better than being on a boat with 10 people.
Right.
And, that started today.
Yeah.
What do you think
today.
That whole island thing, and I know it's not your forte, but it is in our background, right? But
yes, sir.
Is it the abundance of bait? Because we know the fish are there. I mean, is there an abundance of bait that the yellows don't want to break free? And
there needs to be a push of volume. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fish that's there right now to hear Steve describe it, they're the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're good ones, and as many fishes get hooked.
Yeah,
sure.
You don't land them all, and you better be on your game. But you know what? I enjoy that challenge.
Right.
Anybody can go out when they're biting
when
the
there's
nails.
limits.
Yeah, anybody can do that. But I find more reward from
a dozen fish on the boat.
Yeah, and picking one or two of them.
Yeah, totally.
Getting your piece of it, or oh shit, I went 0 for 3.
Yeah,
right. But even that, it's like, okay, well, I was in the game.
Yeah.
Or they're
like you
good
said,
sized fish, man.
Picking off, standing at the rail with your buddy and being on the Point Loma and seeing a turn bird, fly one way and then get twitchy and kick back the other way and firing a cast off right to that was and hooking a fish on the surface. Like that one fish, for sure, you smile a whole lot more at the end of the day, or you think about it a week later a whole lot more than you did on a day that was just wide open. You dropped a bait in, you hooked one, you filled your sack with it. Like those are the fun ones for sure.
Yeah, and those are memories.
Yeah,
those
totally.
Are memories
whether it be a yellowtail or a bass flips back there, and you made your lure, you put your lure right on it, and you got the bite right away. Like those are the ones that stick in your mind for sure.
So the Point Loma, maximum load is how many people?
Depends on what we're doing. Half-day trips, we'll put 26, 28 on there.
Okay.
Generally, if we're fishing any short of islands or offshore, 18.
18 people. So
the boat's licensed for 37.
I got you. But so a charter group.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so attractive about it. Is it just doesn't take that many guys. Get a dozen, get 15 guys together. You all split the cost, and boom, you have your own charter. You're not paying hardly any more than you would for any other trip.
Yeah.
But it's just you. It's just your
boat.
trip. Yeah, I dig it. I think it's a great boat.
So you're recommending 18 people maximum for island offshore. I mean, if you had a group of 15, that ought to be super comfortable. Like,
absolutely.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You got the boat to yourself.
Yeah,
that's cool. Hey, I had a really fun text from James in La Jolla. It says, I absolutely love fishing the daily double. It's everything right about fishing. With the exception of spending time on my skiff and an occasional 8-day in the fall, fishing a good bass bite on the double is my absolute happy place. Fred told me when I was a kid, if you can catch calicos consistently in the kelp, you can catch anything. It was a great tip. Go fishing the daily double. It's just fun. I thought that was a great text. And how true that is, too. You, Fred, get to see skill level of all kinds. From a family coming out from Arizona and enjoying San Diego and trying to catch a bass for the first time, to the most dedicated guys that fish half day with you every day and cycle through tens of thousands of baits a year because they fish with you twice a week. And everything happens on the double. That's one of the things that I think is so cool about your job is you truly do get to see all kinds.
We're the training grounds.
Yeah.
And if you can
or the perfecting grounds,
oh yeah,
it's not just the training grounds either, though. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, it's the entry level.
Yeah.
But if you can go on the entry level and master it, what I said to that man, I know what kind of keyed that statement. And I had a guy that was fishing with me on a regular basis. He fished really well, and he's getting ready to do a 5-day trip, and he showed this concern.
Right.
And it's like, you're going to have no problems.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, there might be some knots you don't know, or there might be some technique, but for the most part, if you can fly line an anchovy and hit a pocket to catch a calico, it's like you're well on your way. You understand how to fly line a bait. You understand how to fight a fish. You see visually what's going on. You can maneuver around other people. You're not going to have a problem. So that man went out and is like, oh wow, that was
I would say even above what you're saying. I wouldn't say that guy is going to be just okay. I would say that guy's likely going to have a leg up on a lot more than you think. There are no better fishermen than the local regulars that go every week, and it's just that. I mean, it's repetition.
Yeah,
they have more times going to the hand well. They have more times. It's little things that you just don't think about that become muscle memory. How you pick up a bait, how you put a hook in it, how you get it into the water. And if you're fishing twice a week on the half-day boat, you're just going through more baits and making more casts than somebody who what their fishing schedule allows is 1 8-day trip a year, and and then the next year comes along and I got 8 more days of fishing. If this guy's fishing 2 days a week every week beforehand, you can't touch that guy.
He's able to put it together.
No doubt.
Nice.
My sister-in-law sent a boyfriend out with me one time, and he was a long-range fisherman,
right.
And he came out with his gold fancy reels, and he fished
got
like
smoked.
He fished like shit. Yeah, I mean, he couldn't fly line a bait if he didn't have a big sardine to kind of be able to pitch out. He couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And this is stupid. Yeah, okay, it's
nothing like getting a bass bite on a chove, man.
Everything you just said, Rick. It's anybody can go to where the fishing's really good and catch fish. But go to where it's a little tough and be challenged and be able to find success when conditions aren't perfect and there's not, those are the people that are putting their time in.
Yeah.
And those are the passion.
That's what makes you.
I just want to go fishing.
Yeah.
I just want to go. I just want to be on the boat.
I love it.
And, like you say, it's the repetition. It's all the little things that we do on a regular basis that kind of set us aside from the guy that just does a couple of 8-day trips.
That's it.
I have to say I spent a lot of my younger years fishing on both the Fisherman 3 and the Daily Double. Like that was my gig. In the 80s. I spent a lot of time. And
it's a good place for a kid to cut his teeth.
It is.
Out,
and the Daily Double is such a cool platform. It's like lower to the water. It's wide. It's got a really wide beam at the stern. It's perfect for backing into the kill.
It's the perfect boat, man. It's a
dude,
perfect boat to go catch a calico bass from.
Hello.
I want to go do it right this second. Well, the phone lines are packed, Corey. Why don't we jump back into them?
Let's do it. How about Bruce? Bruce calling from Lemon Grove. Good morning, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Morning, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, guys. You're talking about schedule. Are you going to be doing the later departures during the summer, or I'd like to do a couple of those a year? So.
Yeah, we're online right now. Daily Double 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, and then we come back in and 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 8:30
I love
in the
that,
evening.
man. I love that.
3 to 8:30. We're online 7 days a week. You can call Point Loma Sport Fishing at area code 619-223-1627. Or you can book online at pointlomasportfishing.com. We have reintroduced discounts. So there's senior, junior, and military discounts now, $10 off.
Oh, awesome.
So book online or call the office and get on the boat and let's go fishing.
I think the thing that I love the most about your afternoon run is it's just in line with when I get off of work at the tackle store. So I can't wait for maybe Dal take care of the boys for a little bit and just slide onto the double, go get a little afternoon bass fishing.
Ashton from our office he works the front office. He came out the other afternoon. He had a limit of calicos on the surface iron.
Oh man,
hello.
Count
that's
me in.
That's a nice day of work.
Yeah, no doubt. Slide off of work.
Yeah,
go down.
Sell fishing tickets.
Yep.
Jump on the rig.
I love it.
Catch a limit of bass.
A little cheeseburger on your way home.
Yes,
life is good.
Oh, bring it on, man.
Let's jump back into those phones, Corey.
Geez, you have me on the boat already. How about Mike? Mike calling from Rosemead. Good morning, Mike.
Hey,
Appreciate
Mike.
you joining us.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for picking up my line. Now, Fred, generally speaking, you start the morning run, the seas are glass calm, and as the morning progresses and later in the afternoon, breezes start picking up. Do you prefer, or do you see a pattern? Would you rather fish flat calm conditions or with a little bit more breeze and wind? And how do you would you compare the morning run to the afternoon run? And are the loads generally lighter in the afternoon?
So thank you for your question. When we talk about one variable, one condition, you're talking about the wind condition. That is one of
several.
Yes, so many different variables, and if the wind's doing one thing, but you get a current break pushed through, and the water's movement, and it's gotten a little warmer. I mean, there's several conditions that one doesn't dictate everything. One doesn't dictate everything, and whether what the wind's doing, that's what we're experiencing. That's our condition that we're living in above the water, but there are more important things that are happening in the water.
Right.
So for us, it's the wind, but for the fish, it's the current, and that's a more meaningful condition, because that's affecting the fish as opposed to the wind, which is, dictating how I anchor the boat and so many other things. Top water fishing, guys like having ripple, a little bit of not quite as calm on the water. But again, it depends what you're fishing. If you're fishing on popper, then flat calm, but no wind.
Yeah.
But that's just one of several conditions that.
Is there a condition that's the most important?
Yes,
is it current?
biting fish.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's a condition I like.
I actually have a good text.
Please,
that kind of leads into this whole thing. And Ed, thank you for the call. It was awesome, for sure. It says, morning, guys. Great show. Question for Fred. When fishing the coast, current is a must. Is current only found when tides are coming in and going out? So
no.
So that's Matt from Apple Valley. I mean, is it only a tide dependent kind of thing?
I get this all the time where people want to look at the tides, and if you're fishing the bay, if you're fishing, surf fishing, tides are meaningful. But as soon as you get out away, the ocean currents are completely different. Now, sometimes there might be a correlation, but it's such a 3D thing.
Yeah.
I mean, don't look at your tide chart and think that there's going to be, in my humble opinion, to think that there's going to be a correlation of what's happening a mile off the beach.
I agree with you 100%.
Now, there is an exception to that. I do like fishing near the mouth of the harbor on an outgoing tide.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but that's not an absolute. And again, there's so many different things that factor into it that anytime somebody comes to me and points at one thing and saying, "Oh, this is what I base when I go fishing on," it's almost frustrating. It's almost frustrating.
But it's a legit question, because some people do try to base it on the tides. And here's a crazy thing, Fred. I'm with you 110%. I don't dictate my fishing on the tide. And I mean, in the aftermath, you could say, "Oh, wow, this on a high tide or whatever." But here's a crazy thing: is Steve Lasley and Mark Wish will tell you the marlin bit on the tide change at 12:10 they started biting, which is 50 miles offshore,
Yeah, well, Yeah. Is there some remote correlation? Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not.
I know.
I'm more into looking at what's in front of me
I'm with you.
than trying to say I've got some crystal ball and I've been watching this and there's a correlation and this is going to happen.
Hey,
I can tell you one thing that he gave up that was a nugget that I stole from Fred and watching him kick butt over the years in poor conditions, and that's trying to make bass fishing happen when there was a real lack of current, but there was a good outgoing flow of the bay, and that's tucking around and I got that just from watching Fred and like being in my own boat and having struggling days of local bass fishing and then going home and seeing the catch report like, oh, this guy's had 30 bass that day. Like, how the hell did that happen? There was no current anywhere. And then seeing where those guys were and realizing that, you're making some of that tidal flow.
Yes.
It's still water moving, and it's catching the edges of kelp, and it's not artificially making it happen, but it's different. Different than ocean current. You're using that tidal flow to get water moving, and yeah, I caught Fred doing that more than once and put that in the back of my mind. Like, there's you're taking the conditions it presented and you're making the best that you can out of it, whether they're good or they're bad.
Yeah, well, it's being aware of so many things.
Yeah, totally.
And there's never any one thing except biting fish.
That's the best. I like it. That is the condition we're after.
Yes.
Well, here was another fun text. Good morning, guys. Love the talk that you gave earlier about brown baits, chovy, sardine, etc. Fred, can you talk a little bit about the difference on how you fish an anchovy versus how you fish a sardine? Is there a difference in where you hook them, how you fish them, etc.?
So anchovies prevalent, this morning that's kind of come up. If I'm straight fly lining an anchovy, I collar hook them. Mm-hmm. Anytime I put a slot.
Real quick, what does that mean when you say you collar for somebody that's unaware?
So behind the gill plate and towards the top half. So what we refer to as the shoulder. So just lightly underneath the collarbone and out the top shoulder. And then anytime I put a sinker on, I prefer to nose hook a bait, and I do something that not everybody agrees with, but I'll catch the bottom jaw and go up to the nose.
Mm-hmm. For fishing with a weight.
For
sinker.
Slider, torpedo, whatever.
Right.
I nose hook because I feel as it's being drugged down, it's being
swimming.
drugged down nose first, and it looks natural. Where if you collar hook a bait, and it's being drugged down kind of sideways, it doesn't look as natural.
Or it's going to tear, or maybe helicopter off. Or...
Yeah, I see plenty of guys, a super light slider and a collar hook, and it's like, I'm not opposed to that. It's not what I do.
Mm-hmm. Now, how about the difference when you're fishing a sardine?
Locally, I just nose hook them, yellows. I know there are some more finesse ways to get a bait to shoot. If you got finicky yellowtail or tuna fishing, and I'm not opposed to hooking them in the back end.
But
just to get a bait to shoot.
But fishing in the weeds, that nose hook can be critical because sometimes that thing he's swimming through them, and you got to swim them back out of them too.
Yeah. Well, you pull them away, and there's times bass fishing where you get bit and you miss the fish, and you pull it back, and they come back after it.
Right?
And, and you let it sit there for a while, and you pulled it out, you pulled it away from a fish, you missed the bite, but you pull it away in a natural way, and then you let it sit there, and you know what? It's beat up and it's kind of messed up, but it still looks natural, and they'll come back, and sometimes it might take 5-10 seconds, but it's like I can envision the fish looking at it and saying, it's still there.
Or the other one that missed the opportunity at it, and all of a sudden the opportunity is there again, and rush right out and grab that thing.
Yeah, or another one says, well, you killed it. I'm going to go eat it.
Right.
You put in the work. I'll take that.
The competition factor. I like that one.
Totally.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, great info, and appreciate the text, Sean. Why don't we jump back into those phones, Corey?
Let's do that. How about Sam? Sam calling from Irvine. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Great show. Hey, I went to San Clemente Island, and the bass was unbelievable there. I mean, they were boiling everywhere. We throw chovies, which chovies are the bait now, I guess. But my questions are, I went for yellowtail. We're looking around for yellowtail, maybe to see if there's big fish out there. And I didn't take anything for calicos. And I heard earlier on you were saying something about a big bass bait and what that setup would be. And what is the best anchovy rig to use now? That apparently that's going to be the thing.
A couple of great questions.
Yeah, really good questions. Chovy setup? I mean, you've kind of described some of it, but like a size 4 hook and...
Four's pretty small.
Yeah.
I'm generally fishing a 2, but
a
4. I mean,
carry both and be safe.
You want your hook to match the bait size, and the anchovies we've seen this year.
Good size.
Yeah, two's been fine. Being able to fly line an anchovy. Old school. We like longer rods. At least 7.5 foot to 9. And I'm amazed at the whole line of smaller reels that you can fish 15-pound line on.
Yeah.
15 to 20. Fly line calico bass, 15 to 20-pound line. Can you drop down to 12? Yeah, but we're still ocean fishing, and you don't know what's going to go through.
Could be a sea bass.
Yeah.
Could be a yellow.
Yeah. Can I ask you this one? You've seen all kinds. You've seen everybody of every talent level, and I know that both of the reels work for it. But when you're fly lining an anchovy for a calico bass, do you prefer a low profile style reel or a more traditional open smaller reel? Take the money factor out of it. Do you have a preference?
Whatever's in front of me.
Yeah,
I mean, the level wines. I'm so impressed by all the everybody has a line of level wines. That's,
sure.
And I cut my teeth on a squitter.
Right.
And gosh, here we are. We're talking tackle again, and it's like.
Well, it's because it's one of the fun parts about it.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Totally. The squitter, all three of us could still get to work today perfectly. I mean, we could still go calico fishing.
I think I asked because I love fishing a Tranks, and a Tranks is what I have, and this, that, and the other.
Rick.
But man, how do you say that there's ever a reel that fly lines an anchovy better than Newell 220? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But
is it? It's fun.
But for
that's all.
An all-purpose reel, and Frank Lopresti mentioned it yesterday. The Tranks has changed the game for that kind of half-day inshore fishing. I mean, a Tranks 300 or 400, you could.
Yeah. It's not the equipment; it's the fishermen.
No, but it makes it easier. I think.
Yeah, and it's where Fred puts that boat and puts that anchor down on some hard bottom and a little bit of nice clean current running downhill. I
have a quick question because we have Yusef ready to go. What days are you running the boat? I want to come in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Are you running? Is there any particular days?
I
want to come hang out with Fred for the afternoon.
I need to have this conversation with my 2 hungry captains that want to run the boat all the time.
Which is okay. I mean, that's fine.
I've been, I've kind of become the utility guy.
Okay.
It's like, when you guys need a day off? And I ran the boat yesterday.
Yeah.
I ran the double. Steve Peterson ran the Point Loma.
Okay.
So, you had both.
That's the beauty of having a team like you guys have.
Both the senior guys. Yeah, because you want everybody to be happy.
Totally.
You want, both the other captains, they have young kids at home and, family get-togethers. Chad has family in town. Tony had a family day yesterday. And
so Fred's running the boat.
And Steve's running the other one.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know, but I would like to take on Tuesdays and Wednesdays or something.
I would love to see that because I want to come down on a Tuesday afternoon and go hang out with Fred.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Here's the thing: you never know what the fishing's going to be like.
That's true.
And you never know which one of our excellent captains is going to be running the boat.
But I know the burger from the girls is going to be great.
Yeah, I want to go fishing with Chad and catch all those sea bass, man. You kidding me?
Hello.
Well, speaking of sea bass, let's find out what's going on in the water. It's time for our fishdope.com report, Corey.
And it's brought to us by Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It's a place to fill up your car, truck, and boat with the lowest gas and diesel prices. And did you know Summit is also the place to get the lowest prices on ice and snacks for your trip? Over 40 snacks, and all those 40 snacks, 89 cents. And now you get the burritos, sandwiches for your trip, and all made fresh daily. Ice is nearly half the price of other places. Only $3.99 for a 25-pound bag. Plus, you get 100 pounds of free ice with a 35-gallon fill-up. It's Summit Gasoline for free ice. The Let's Talk Hookup listeners, always the lowest gas prices in the San Diego Sports Arena.
All right. And with that said, let's find out what's going on. We got Yusuf on the line right now, the Anglers Realtor. Good morning, Yusuf.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
We're doing great, buddy. It's been a fun week of kind of some ebb and flow fishing. We're anxious for the rundown.
Yeah, it seems like it's really heating up. The islands up north, San Miguel and Santa Rosa, have just been an epic sea bass bite the past week. Should continue into the full moon, hopefully. St. Nick as well, over at the Sand Spit. They've been getting some big halibut. It's been pretty much game on up there. Palo Verde's, Long Beach area, there is a good San and Calico bass bite at Isers, as well as the Barracuda are starting to get bigger in there.
Nice.
Catalina remains strong with the sea bass bite and a few yellowtail here and there. It's a really early bite, like 2 a.m. to sunrise. After that, it just shuts off. Clemente is back online, full speed sea lions right now, but there is some yellowtail mixed in with that as well, from Gold Bluff down to Purslane. Del Mar and La Jolla area out to Point Loma is pretty much off and on the yellowtail. They'll pop up one day, the next day you see nothing. The bass bite's definitely getting better in there. We're getting legal sized barracuda as well. One highlight is 6 to 15 pound sea bass being caught over off Point Loma kelp. Yeah. So last week there's a few guys that got in there and did pretty good. Coronado Island's the same story. It's hit and miss. Yellowtail, I was down there last Sunday. We didn't get any yellows, got into some good rockfish, but same deal. It's one day on, one day off. There's a lot of fish there that we metered up, and we couldn't get them to go, but you know, the bigger boats are getting them every day. It's getting a little bit better. Tuna action. It was a little bit slower last night, but should pick back up hopefully tonight. Out towards the northwest end of Clemente, backside of Clemente, and now the Tanner Bank. There's some bigger fish out on the Tanner Bank. A couple of the guys were out there, and they've done pretty well, kind of being all by themselves for this time of year. It's pretty awesome, but it's going, boys. We're gonna be in the heat of it here in the next 2 weeks, I think.
We'll take that, man. Certainly some good prospects and some good fishing to be had. And like you said, a couple of those fisheries need to wait for the conditions to come right back around, and we'll certainly handle that. And you know, the best part about fishdope.com is there's always somebody on it. So many great reports. Biologists checking water, weather, regulation changes, everything. Fish Dope is always on it, and you can save $30 off of a new membership to fishdope.com by using the code Hookup Now. It's all lowercase, no space, saves you $30. And Yusuf, what's going on in the housing market right now?
Housing market's a little slow, honestly. I don't know what the deal is. This rate keeps bouncing up and down. Hopefully, we're pressuring Powell pretty hard, so we should get some relief here in the next few months. But it's just going to be a little bit of a cyclical market. People, as soon as these kids get out of school, it'll start going again in the next week or two here. But everybody's getting ready for the end of the year and getting their kids ready, and they'll be wanting to move here soon, I would imagine.
Well, that sounds good. Well, if somebody needs help with the process of buying it, selling it, or just getting the info, we always say you're certainly the best and one of us, and it sure is a nice guy to have on your back when you're in that market. How do we find you if we want to keep in touch with everything that you guys do with the housing world?
You can get me on my cell phone at 619-277-2169. You can also get me on social media at Cal Realty. You can go to my website, sportsmansrealty.com. If you'd like a free home evaluation, we'll kick you one out. No questions asked. SoCalHomeEval.com.
You're the best, buddy. Appreciate it. Great report, as always. Glad to have you back in the studio here. Hope you had an awesome trip, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it, buddy.
Good stuff, and it's brought to us by the Fish Pros of Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get your premier processing experience. You can check out the easier online system to book your processing for your long-range trips, and with more team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest. More same-day capacity and the finest customer service. Stop by the location in Old Town on Taylor Street, or you can check them out at fishermansprocessing.com and make your reservations today. And we're going to be right back. You're listening to Southern California's Sport Fishing Voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup, not only on the Let's Talk Hookup app, YouTube, and Facebook Live, but we are on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey everybody, this is Captain Dwayne Diego, 4-pack charter captain, here to talk to you about Parker Boats and the good folks at West Coast Marine. When it came time to start Pinnacle Sport Fishing and get my own boat, there was only one choice. I wanted a Parker. Then there's a real good reason for it. The fishability and seaworthiness. I've been fishing on Parkers for years now, and I know the abuse they can take. Parker Marine builds a heavy-duty, industrial-strength boat, probably overbuilt, but that's what I need when we're out 12 hours a day, over 300 days a year, running charters. The guys at West Coast Marine built me one heck of a fishing boat. From the custom tower with steering and throttle controls to the backup bait pump system, my Parker 2520 XLD will deliver me to the fishing grounds reliably and safe. Take it from me. If you're ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, honest deal, you need to seek West Coast Marine, located at 1555 Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check them out and their inventory and information online at westcoastmarine.com.
A top fleet and superb fishing is what Seaforth Sport Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, it's no wonder Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limit, El Gato Dos, Pride, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or regular open party schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
One rod has set the standard for serious saltwater anglers worldwide, and that's CalStar. From the rugged dependability of the West Coast Series, the lightweight strength of the Graphiter, or the performance of the GG Series, all CalStar rods are handmade right here in Southern California of the finest materials and craftsmanship. Check out the new CalStar models now available, as well as upgrades to the classic rods that you know and love. If you want your tackle to be state-of-the-art tools to get the job done right, it's CalStar at fine tackle dealers.
It's employee pricing, and it's happening now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. That's right, employee pricing across a full lineup for trucks and SUVs. A lineup featuring California's #1 truck brand and Ford F-Series, America's all-time best-selling SUV and Ford Explorer, the iconic Ford Bronco, and more. No automaker employs more hourly workers or assembles more vehicles here in America than Ford Motor Company. And that's a commitment your San Diego County Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing to you. It's only for a limited time. Exclusions apply. Hurry to your local San Diego County Ford dealer today.
This is Duke Ekstrom from the Royal Star. In 1983, a group of intrepid anglers envisioned crafting the best sunglasses on the water. It's true now as it was then. Costa's performance frames excel in the toughest of elements. These styles are packed with functional features that create a competitive advantage for any adventure on the water. From the lake to offshore, Costa's Performance Collection has a legacy of helping anglers stay on the water longer. Learn more at costadelmar.com.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm having so much fun in studio with in the World Headquarters with Fred Huber from the Daily Double, and just not only bringing back memories, but talking about the current calico fishing and just, you know, how much fun it is and how good it is actually, and it's happening right now, right? Yeah. I mean, it's that time, and the water temp's 65, 66 degrees, and bass are flipping around, flopping.
It started. We're
trying.
We're not focused just on bottom fishing right now. That's always something to fall back on. But it started. I mean, the season's here, 2025. How it's going to unfold, and come watch the story.
Exactly.
Yeah, the people that wait and the fish count watchers. Oh, I don't want to go unless it's screaming. It's like, come on. Get your reps in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's go do this.
Get your swings in. Get your time out on the water. I mean, get off your couch. Come on.
Exactly. And that's the same whether it's island fishing or bluefin or fishing on the Daily Double.
Hey, I wanted to start this one off with a text because I thought it was a great question for what's going on right now. It says, good morning, guys. Super excited to hear the show. I'm having a great time and wanting to go half-day fishing with Captain Fred. I'd really like to get in on this little bit of sea bass bite that seems to be happening. My question for Fred is, if there's an opportunity at sea bass, would you recommend that I go on the AM or the PM trip, and anything that I could be doing to help increase my odds of getting that bite? That's from Charisse in Huntington Beach.
It's looking back over this past year, it seemed like our better hits were in the afternoon.
Okay.
We had some pretty good hits. That time of day when everybody else is gone, and we've kind of got it all to ourselves.